Right, well, welcome to the desert, Dubai Desert. We've got two bikes in front of us. My name's Brandon and we've got Mr. Alex.
Thank you, thank you.
Right, so I guess what we want to talk about today is these two new bikes. We've got the Sharmax's, the 450, which you've been riding.
Yeah.
And the 300, which I've been riding. I mean, we have crossed over and ridden each other's bikes, but I want to start with you because you are more of an expert than I am, given. As much as I think I know how to ride, you are slightly better and you have more knowledge.
You're doing
than
good though. You are riding well, considering you
that.
haven't really been riding at all
for a while.
I know you did used to ride, and you're getting back into it, and I think I've brought you back into it.
I think you have.
I'm glad you have.
I think, and I'm glad. I'm enjoying it. Okay, you've got the Expert Pro 450.
Yeah.
Talk me through the bike, because you've ridden KTM, Kawasaki, you know, Honda, the whole shebang, and you've experienced many of these bikes.
My experience with this so far is, overall, I think it's actually a really good bike. You know, from a price point of view, it's really good.
Yeah,
So you can't complain at all about that. You know, it's a full-size dirt bike. You know, it competes in that same size as any other 450 out on the market as well.
Okay, nice.
The power's quite good. I think it's around 44, 45 horsepower, which is pretty good for this.
Does it feel, you know,
it does. It does actually. It has
45 horsepower.
You do feel that it's got enough power to do what you need to do. So, you know, for example, like this hill behind us, you know, you can climb up this stuff easy with it. It's not a problem.
Nice.
And yeah, the suspension's really comfortable. It's that enduro setup, so it's a little bit softer.
Okay.
Which is what you want for enduro. You've got the enduro rear tire. It's quite a thick, chunky tire. So
it's more, you would say, more enduro than MX. You know.
For sure. I mean, you've also got the headlight as well, which is if you are doing anything at night, it's there if you need it. You know, so and it's good. And you've got a speedometer as well. It tells you your RPM. It's got.
Have you hit that max horsepower?
I haven't actually, but
I will see. Scared, are you?
No, I mean just still using what's available for me. You know, there's plenty of power.
Taking it easy, are you?
Yeah. But tell me about the 300. I've ridden this as well, but not as much as you.
Yeah.
But I want to hear your.
I've ridden this a lot more than you, haven't I? Yeah. Well, look, I think as far as a bike goes, and as somebody of my, say, caliber when it comes to riding, I think overall it is a great bike.
It is.
It's definitely got enough power, and for somebody like me, you know, sort of my weight category and my height and everything, you know, it works. It works.
I like the 300. I think it's a really good entry level size as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you've had somewhat experience on bikes, but you're not ready for that 450 power, that 300 is perfect, because you know it's the same size as a 450.
Yeah.
But just that little bit less power, but it's controllable. You know.
It's quite forgiving. I mean, so far, you know, I've ridden off-road, obviously some track. We've gone over this sort of terrain, soft sand, wet sand, and it is capable, you know, not even deflating the rear tires. I mean, I was, you know, quite confident with it in the sand. You know, everything seems to work. You're actually more of an expert, so tell me the difference on why people are having fuel injected, if I'm not wrong.
Well, yeah, so these bikes are obviously carbureted, but I think that's also due to, you know, that price.
Okay.
You know, fuel injected will be more. But I think they run fine.
Yeah,
you know, there's no issue that we've had. I haven't had any problems with it. I think it runs really well. So I don't think it's really a negative thing about it. You know, it's quite a good. You know, they ride just as good as any other bike. To be fair,
it looks good. You know. Yeah. I really like the colour combinations going on. Obviously, we've got, you know, the black with, I mean, sort of the contrast grey, if you like. It's a little bit more of a sleeper bike, if you like. And then we've got the 450, which just does look a little bit more aggressive, overall rounded.
Yeah, and you do get, don't forget, the extended fuel tanks.
Yeah.
So you can carry a decent amount of fuel in them, which is really cool. And you can get them in the clear and the black
like
as well.
Clear.
Clear is cool. You can see it, which is nice.
Yeah.
And I do prefer the
not
clear
that
as
it
well.
does an awful lot. In fact, you know what I will tell you? This is a lot easier when you're fueling up the bike, because you can see the fuel level of the bike. Not that it's a big factor, but it's just more convenient.
And the suspension's all fully adjustable, which is great as well. That's a huge thing for people who want to get serious of setups and how they ride. Yeah. It's important to have adjustable suspension, so that's really good as well.
Okay, right. I'm going to summary this video in a minute. Before I do that, obviously, we will have to do a sound check at the end, because I think this sounds better than yours. Controversial, because that's a bigger engine. It should sound louder and better.
Let's see.
I think this sounds better.
It does sound good.
But just before we do that start up, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay, you've ridden a lot of bikes, Alex. You've been a rider for the majority of your life. having now, you know, had all these different bikes, and given there is a price point involved, but would you say for the money that you're paying for this bike, it's just around, I think it's 20,000 dirham, just under 21,000 dirham, this bike.
Yeah.
What do you rate this? I mean, let's talk about overall performance out of 10.
Yeah, I think performance out of 10 for the price, you know, it's a good 8 out of 10.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of competition out there, and, you know, they've done really well. I think for the price, the power is there out of 10. Yeah.
You've given it an 8 out of 10. Who would be the end user?
I think if you're getting into the sport, but you're not ready to drop a big chunk of money, I think, you know, this is probably the perfect bike for you. You know, you can get, there's so many different options. You know, there's not just a 300 or a 450.
Oh, they've got loads.
You know, there's a 280. You know, there is smaller bikes.
125.
Yeah, but I think anyway, entry level, I think they're perfect bikes for the price, and you can learn a lot on them, and I think you can do so much more with them as well. So yeah.
Well, I think that's it. I mean, Mr. Cameraman, if you want to come over here, because we are going to do a little, you know, startup of the bike. It starts first time as well, and you know, for a budget bike, that's something that you always get a little bit worried about. So, I mean, it's in neutral right now, and I guess I think it sounds good. Okay, anyway, let's see what yours has got.
All right, let's start the 450.
I think the 300 sounds better anyway. What do you guys think?
That 300 does sound good.
Ooh,
all right.
I don't want to stand in front of you.
This is a bit deeper.
It does actually sound.
It's got that 450 grunt.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. Well, I guess that's summarising the video. We've got the Expert Pro 450 and the Expert Pro 300. What am I giving this bike out of 10? From my level of experience at the minute, definitely what I would have. Then again, I'd probably get this and then think, oh, I should have bought the 450 as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to probably give this an 8.5 out of 10.
It's a good bike. I really like that 300.
You know, it is a good bike. If there was one little thing I would like wish for, is just a little bit more oomph, just a tiny bit more oomph. Not because it's needed.
That's what the 450 is for.
Not because it's needed, but you know, it's like speed is life.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Brandon.
I'm AMAC.